We're about to get practical over here. So now, yes, I agree, God is silent, God is quiet. Yes. So what do? Do we cry? Do we keep praying? Do we stay there? Do we start giving ourselves motivational talk? Do we give up on God, or do we remain there and continue to wait and seek the face of God? What exactly do we do in our quiet season? Let's go deeper. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the Literal Podcast. I'm your amazing host, Ogechi Nze, aka The Phenomenal Oge. And today we're going to be continuing our series on when God is silent. We talked about previously reasons why God could be silent, but now we're going to be talking about solutions. We're going to be getting practical right now. We're going to be talking about what to do when God is silent. Exactly. What do we do? So, I don't point out the problems without giving you solution. So today we're talking about the solutions on what to do when heaven is silent. Let's get into it. So now let's first clear the air. Silence does not equal absence. We get that now, Abi? Yes. Okay, so on to the next. So I understand that sometimes as human beings in this modern world, we tend to equate silence to, lack of care or lack of interest or even abandonment. Because let's say, for example, you and your friend who used to talk before and be best of friends, and then now your friend has suddenly gone hush on you. They no longer want to talk to you, or they're not talking to you anymore. You assume that, they're giving you silent treatment, so that means they don't like you anymore, or they are upset with you, or they're angry with you, or you guys have an unsolved issue. That is in the human sense, but we tend to project that onto God as well, forgetting that God is not a man. His ways are not our ways. So for human beings, silence might equal abandonment or lack of interest. With God, silence might just be Him trying to build your capacity. It might just be Him testing you. It might just be Him building your resilience. It might just be Him allowing you to, act out and prove to Him how much of trust you have in Him, or how much of belief you have in God. So with God is completely different than it is with man. So with God, silence isn't exit. No, He didn't exit, He didn't leave, He didn't abandon you. With God, it's just an invitation for you to look deeper than the immediate answers that you're looking for. So God wants you to search deeper, plunge deeper, look into having a deeper relationship with God, as opposed to just getting immediate answers from Him. So sometimes that's the reason for the silence, because He wants you to come up hither. So practically speaking now, what exactly do we do when God is silent? Number one, stay consistent in the quietness. Exactly. So that's the first thing you do. Stay consistent. Don't waver. Don't go threatening God. Don't go snoozing on God. Don't go ghosting God and say, I'm not going to church again. No, don't stop praying, don't stop worshiping, don't stop praising, don't stop serving God, don't stop doing good. Stay consistent in the quietness. That's the first thing you need to do. Maturity with God is basically consistency without the applause. With human beings, the tendency is to be consistent when you have applause. When people are applauding you and say, oh, well done, oh, you're doing well, it will give you ginger to do more. But it doesn't necessarily work like that with God, because His ways are not our ways. You get it? Exactly. So spiritual maturity is consistency without the applause. So even when God is silent, you stay there. So God speaks to us in different ways. He speaks through silence, through open doors, through seasons, through different things, through different methods of visitation. God can speak to you in different ways. Just because the way He has chosen to speak to you now is through silence, and then the fact that the silence is not dramatic, it doesn't make it any less divine than it is. Did you get? So the fact that the way God has chosen to speak to you now is not dramatic, it's not giving you goosebumps, it's not making you feel like, it's a eureka moment, it doesn't mean that it is any less divine than it is. Do you get the drift? So number two thing you need to do is guard your heart from comparison. That one, very important, because I understand that it's during your silent seasons that social media will be the loudest. Is when you are believing God for life partner. That's when you'll be seeing that everybody's getting engaged, everybody's getting married, I understand the tendency to feel some kind of way is there.
Yakubu, manage!
The tendency for you to feel like, God, have you forsaken me like this? Then those funny people will now say, oh, am I a spoon? Am I a cup? Am I? You know those funny things that we say. I understand the tendency is there. I know that it's also when that you are asking God for financial breakthrough. That's when you will feel most left behind. That's when every time you open your Instagram, you'll be seeing people who are buying new cars, people who are progressing, getting new job, different things. You open LinkedIn again, you feel like, what am I doing with my life? I understand. The tendency for that is there. Yes, I get it. But you need to guard your heart, because out of it comes the issues of life. You need to guard your heart from comparison. Be sure and be consistent. Be intentional. You need to be intentional about not comparing yourself and your journey with that of another person. Because once you start comparison is the thief of your joy. You will never feel like you are doing well enough. Once you start comparing yourself with another person, you will never feel like you are doing anything good. You feel like no matter what you are doing, it will not just make sense to you. It will no longer feel like it's enough anymore. So comparison is the thief of your joy. So you need to guard your heart against comparison. And you need to remember that delay is not denial, and different timing is not favoritism. It doesn't mean that because God hasn't done your own yet, He prefers the other person to you, or God doesn't like you. No, far from it. Comparison is what makes you start to think like that. So please resist the urge to compare yourself to anybody today. Worship God in advance. Give thanks. Worship in advance. Thank God in advance. Because one of the best things you can do in your silent season is to worship God. Not because you feel like it at that point in time, but because He is still worthy of your worship and of your praise and of your thanks, irrespective of whatever it is that is happening. The Bible makes us understand that in every situation, give thanks. Thanksgiving is application for more. So if you haven't even given thanks for the little you have gotten, what is the guarantee or what is the assurance that you will be thankful when you get more? So if human being can think like that, how much more God, who is a jealous God? So please, even in the midst of your quiet season, keep worshiping, keep giving thanks. Number 4 thing you need to do is understand that silence might be preparation. God is not ignoring you. He's simply preparing you for the answers that you're asking for. You might be asking God for marriage, for financial breakthrough, for influence, for global visibility, for growth, for a new job. But meanwhile, God is building your discipline, He's building your capacity, He's building your tolerance, He's building your patience, He's building your understanding, He's building your inner strength and your self-discipline. So yes, sometimes silence is simply giving you room for preparation. It's just preparing you and making you better equipped for the answers that are coming. If God gives you what you're praying for without building your capacity first, you might mismanage it because you don't even have the ability to manage the kind of blessings and answers that you are requesting for. So God will need to build your capacity first. Sometimes what you need is not a breakthrough, it's backbone. He needs to build your toughness. You need to be strong first. Sometimes what you need is not a breakthrough, it's discipline that you need. You need to be able to have the level of discipline to manage the kind of wealth that you're requesting for from God. So understand that sometimes silence might be preparation for your blessing and your answers. So don't give up. Number 5. Another thing you can do when God is silent is lean on historical faith. Yes. He might not be saying anything to you now. He might be silent now, but ask yourself, what has He said before? Sometimes you need to give yourself a reminder, a refresher. Our God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He never changes. He says, I am the Lord, I change it not. He's the same yesterday, same today, same forever. What has He said to you in time past? What are the times He has showed up for you? How has He showed up for you in time past? What has He done for you in time past? Sometimes you need to remember all the things that God has given to you before. You need to remember what God has done for you before. Sometimes remembering what God has done for you before will give you reasons to give thanks. And thanksgiving is the application for more. So the more you give thanks, the more God will want to give to you. The more you will receive. Do you understand? Exactly. So sometimes you need to lean back on historical faith. And remember that the same God who did it then is the same God who did it now. He hasn't changed. He's still in the habit of doing good. So if He was faithful to you then, His character has not changed now, simply because He has turned the volume down. No. It doesn't mean that he has changed. It doesn't mean that he has changed tactics or his character has changed or he's no longer a good God. Far from it. It just means that your miracle is on the way. So sometimes you need to lean on historical faith to remind you that God is still faithful. Number 6. Another thing you need to do is go back to the last known instructions. Yes. Sometimes you're asking God for new instructions, for a new word. Meanwhile, the last instruction he gave you, you haven't even heeded to it. You haven't done what he told you to do before. So start from the known before you get to the unknown. Do you get me? That's my point. So if you already know something that he has given you or he has told you to do before, go and start from there. The last instruction he gave you, start there. And then new instructions will come when you have exhausted the last ones. You get my point? Exactly. So sometimes here, silence forces us to examine ourselves, because in the midst of the silence, if you sit down and do a self-examination and ask yourself, you will begin to understand more about the kind of person that you are. You will now start to understand that, am I really following God for who he is? Am I really following God because I love him and because I trust in him and because I feel like he's worthy to be praised? Or do I only praise God or follow God for his to-do list in my life? Do you get it? It's your attitude in the midst of the silence that will teach you and prove to you the kind of person that you are. It will tell you whether you are actually following God because you love him, or you're only following God because of what you can gain from following him. So if you're only following God because of what you can gain, he sees it. He knows your thoughts, even while you're still thinking them, or even before you even thought about them. So how do you think you can deceive somebody like that? Does it make sense? So if God sees your heart, he knows what you're thinking. So don't you think he's going to figure out the fact that you're only following him for what you can get and not because you love him? So you see? So you need to ask yourself today, do I trust God because of what he does for me or because of who he is? So you need to figure that out yourself. So if you're in that quiet season right now, if you're in a season of your life where you feel like God is silent, I want you to understand that even when you sow seed, you need time for maturity time. There's an incubation period. There's a time that you need for that seed that you have planted to mature. So why not give God that same grace as well? Why not be patient? Wait. The fact that you've asked God for something now and he hasn't done it in the next 2 weeks or in the next 1 month, in the next 3 months, it doesn't mean he's not still going to do it. After all, there are some plants that only yield within 2 years, within 3 years, 4 years, 1 year, depending on the plant. So why not think about it like that you have sown your seed by praying, by seeking the face of God, asking. You need to give time for maturity period. Then you get the harvest. Do you get the point now? Exactly. So I want to encourage you to remain steadfast even in the midst of the silence, because God will work it out. He is still working behind the scenes even in the midst of the silence. So I want you to know that silence is not abandonment with God. He hasn't given up on you. He hasn't forsaken you. He is still there. He's just working behind the scenes. And before you know it, he's going to bring to limelight all the work he's been doing behind the scenes. And you will smile in the end. You will laugh last and you will laugh the best. So thank you so much for watching my video today. Until I come your way same time next week, you know I'm always rooting for you, of course. So if you haven't liked this video, make sure you like this video. Drop your comments in the comment section. Share this video with anyone that you feel needs to hear this video. Your friends, family, loved ones, even your enemies, because you just want to end their life. Exactly. So thank you. I'll see you same time next week on the Literal Podcast. I remain your amazing host, the Phenomenal Oge, and that's on period. See you next week. Bye.